Before I get halfway through this press conference, you will be thinking, why in the world is he saying...
What's up, guys? True Crime King back. Okay, the reason I have my glasses on, number one, is because I was going to do a drunk turkey reaction, but I changed my mind. I saw this case and I wanted to bring it to everybody's attention because it's the worst case that I think I've ever seen of neglect, and it's the worst case that Grady Judd has ever seen as well. So I'm gonna let him tell the story. I'll react very little to this video. I want you guys to just kind of listen, and I want these parents to be known, just in case they do get out of prison. They are the worst people on the planet. I mean, among the worst. And you'll see what I'm talking about in a second. But yeah, it's just horrible. And the thing that pisses me off the most is people hurting people that can't defend themselves or don't know any better, especially child, right? So I'm gonna stop talking and let's listen to this.
Saying these horrible things. Well, you need to know. You need to know in the real world, when people don't do what's right, really, really, really bad things happen.
And real quick, Kim, she's a member. She had cancer, and yesterday she just found out she is cancer-free. So everybody, comment, let Kim know you're happy for her, and she's a great person, cancer-free. Happy for you, Kim.
So we're going to tell you what this child experienced at the hands of the parents because the parents didn't do the right thing. I want to introduce you to the parents, to Keisha Williams, who's 24, and Ephraim Allen Jr., who's 25.
All right, just want to pause it for a second. Take a good look at these monsters, okay?
Here's when it all began. In July of 2020, when this beautiful baby boy was only 10 months old, he suffered a near-drowning experience at a short-term rental in the northeast area of the county. A near drowning. He toddled off into the pool. There was life-saving efforts to try to save this baby's life. When they got him to the hospital at the conclusion of all of their valiant efforts, the child had no brain activity, could not even blink his eyes, cannot move his extremities, and quite frankly, it was recommended to the parents that he be removed from any life-saving measures because the child would forever be in a coma with no brain activity.
Okay, keep in mind, that was not even the worst part of it. This is just the beginning, okay?
They didn't want to do that.
They wanted the checks to keep coming in.
So ultimately, these parents were sent home with their infant on a ventilator, a permanent ventilator, with a stomach tube. And health care, home health care 3 times a week. Now that went on for over 2 years.
So for 2 years, they were getting paychecks from the state.
Of last October, the parents began to reject the home health care. Despite the health care company's best efforts, they would not be home, would not answer the door. So the last time
they did that because they knew that the child wasn't alive.
Home health care dealt with this child was in October of last year. Understand, all of this was occurring at absolutely no cost to the parents. In fact, the mother was receiving benefits.
Did you hear that? She was receiving benefits, okay? Money.
To stay home and take care of this baby.
She didn't take care of this baby at all.
So let's fast forward to Friday, May the 12th. There's a 911 call to the city of Bartow, to the Azalea Apartments where they live, where the mother said, you know, the child's pulsometer is not working correctly. This is really not an emergency. You don't need red lights and sirens, but we'd like fire to come over and check the baby. So they responded to the house in a normal, routine fashion.
And just so you know, I think that she called because the smell was probably getting so bad, and the baby was decomposing.
And when they arrived, they saw this child hooked up to a ventilator, and this ventilator was working appropriately, but there appeared to be no life in the child. This child had an extremely extended stomach, and it was green.
Green. His stomach was green.
This child was rotting in the bed. They rushed this baby to the hospital, where for over an hour, or about an hour, between EMS, fire services, and medical personnel, they tried to save this baby's life. At the hospital, when they started taking off the diapers and the clothes, they noticed ulcers.
Okay.
Large.
Real quick, this is the part, if you're squeamish, you might want to skip ahead.
Gaping wounds through the body down into the muscle. They noticed there was no rectum. There was just a big gaping hole where the intestines and the spinal column was visible. They notified the Bartow Police Department, who immediately said, hey, we need the sheriff's office to assist us. This is a very complex investigation. So our homicide team responded. We noticed immediately the child smelled of decomposition. We went back to the house where the child laid lifeless as it had for 2 years and smelled decomposition in the room.
I think for 2 years they didn't do anything for that baby, and they just let it rot so they could keep getting money. Let me know what you guys think.
The medical doctor at the emergency room said this child has not had the appropriate care for months. The medical examiner at the autopsy said the child had sepsis, bilateral pneumonia, stage 5 ulcers.
Stage 5 ulcers. I didn't even know you could get up to stage 5. I thought the worst was stage 3. Stage 5. That's all the way through the fucking body.
Obvious not child neglect. So we talked to the parents, and we go, what is going on here? They said, well, they didn't want DCF to take their children, so they didn't call. But they had tried to get more home health care, so we introduced ourselves to the potential health care providers, and they said, we accepted them. we went there and wanted to see the child. They said, don't wake the child up today. This is just an introduction.
And remember, just a minute or two ago, he said that healthcare was trying to get a hold of him, but they would never return the calls.
And the next time they went, nobody answered the door. So obviously they were trying to create a facade or to say, well, we asked for help. They let this baby rot and die in its bed. I've done this for 5 decades. I have seen
50 years, just in case anybody doesn't know what 5 decades means.
thousands of children abused, hundreds of children murdered at the hands of parents. I have never seen the horror that we saw with this poor child at the hands of these two folks.
So in 50 years of being a police officer and a sheriff, he has never seen something this bad. And keep in mind, I could be like Tyler Feller or Drunk Turkey and keep doing Brian Koberger videos to try and get more views, right? This video will probably only get 100 views, right? But I think this is more important right now than repeating the same shit over and over just to try and get fucking views and make money, you know? That's why I do this, to expose people like this.
I talked to all the detectives in the room. Have you ever seen anything like this in your life? No one has. You can't even imagine how horrible the wounds, the ulcers that this child endured.
If you want, Google stage 5 ulcers.
At the hands of these folks. They're charged with aggravated manslaughter, among other charges, at this time. They were locked up in the county jail with a bond of $100,000.
As far as I'm concerned, they should never get out of jail. Ever.
The state
They should be left to rot, in my opinion.
attorney's office actually filed direct once we got the initial medical examiner's report. The state attorney's office, Brian Haas, our state attorney, who is simply the very best, is game on every day. And I'm certain if you talk to him, he would be as mortified as we all are that this baby was left in this condition. My job is to protect children, to protect everyone. But my heart is with protecting the very youngest, because you see, they have no choice of where they live or what they eat.
And they don't even know what's going on. They, you know, this was like a 2-year-old.
Or what they wear, or who they associate with. It's up to parents to make the right decisions. And I suggest to you...
And again, I'm pausing it. Ephraim Allen and Takesha Williams. Clowns. And if you guys are watching this, fuck you.
The right decisions haven't been made since this child was 10 months old and suffered a horrible, horrible, horrible tragedy. And then I suggest to you, and this is only supposition on my part, they just got tired of the baby. They just got tired of the intensive care this child needed.
Well, when the child originally suffered the brain damage from drowning, the hospital recommended take him off life support, but they wanted to keep him on the ventilator, basically lifeless, so they could keep getting money, right? So why didn't, if they didn't want the baby and take care of him, why didn't they just listen to the hospital, right?
And as a result,
Or give him to somebody that would actually take care of him.
the child laid there and suffered and suffered and suffered till finally there was no life left in the baby.
And I already know YouTube censors are this is totally gonna be demonetized. But YouTube censors, I don't give a fuck, okay?
There's nothing else I can tell you. If you have any questions, there's still nothing else I can tell you. You know what we know.
But that's it. I just, yeah, that pissed me off. I just wanted to make sure those parents get seen by as many people as possible, and the story gets out. I would suggest you guys share this so everybody can see those parents, because eventually they're gonna get out of jail. But you guys do what you want. But until next time, guys, True Crime King.